Good morning, good evening to everyone who is joining in with us for this new episode of Legal Tech Open Mic. In this, we as we have been doing for quite some time now. In this, we speak about the newest in tech in the area of which serves the legal world. I am extremely excited to welcome my co-host Debarshi. Hi Debarshi, good evening.
Hi, Bisharoop. Good evening, and good evening and good morning to everyone from across the world.
And I'm super excited to welcome Satish, who joins us from AskJunior.ai, Renu Gupta, and Prakash. Hello, Satish. Hello, Renu. Hello, Prakash.
Thank Bishop. Thank the Bishop. Well, thank you
Hi,
for
hi,
inviting us.
Biswasrup. Hi,
Yeah.
Deburshi. Hello, everyone.
So, this is a platform where we go ahead and speak about what is exciting, which is happening in the world of legal tech. And as we continue to look for the most exciting pieces which we come across, especially in India, we came across AskJunior.ai and we spoke with Satish and requested him to come to the platform and present about what he has built. And what Satish is going to go ahead and present to us in the next maybe 30, 35 to 40 minutes is uh, how can a lawyer make their life easier through having an easier access or maybe being able to access through go through the judgments and summarize it in a much easier manner. So we want to look into what this new tool is, this new technology is. But before getting into that, we want to know the story. So Satish, Renu, Prakash, if you could tell us to begin with, what motivated you to build this?
Okay. Thanks, Bishop. I'll go first. And yeah, so I have to be fair, like, I don't know how many people know me, so I'll introduce myself. I'm Satish. I'm a founder of AskJunior.ai. I have 18 plus years of experience in building softwares. And I've been like really fascinated about searches for a long time. Like I'm a core contributor of multiple search tools, including Melly Search is a tool which I have created, and then like I've worked with the team and then like created one. And at the same time, I was actually looking around like this LLM a lot actually. Like it is creating curious interest for me, like what is happening in this space. And GPT 3.5 release, and that was a moment like I know that okay, there are things which is going to get easy. And when I looked at the space around it, like everybody told, like legal, medical, and every field is going to go through massive amount of change, and that includes developers too. So this was the first moment I thought, like, what is happening here? And I wanted to know what is happening around the world and other kind of things. So I joined this forum called as Open NYA, and I started listening to them, like what is the conversation happening and how are things getting done, and they have done a quite a good job in that actually. And that's where I met Renu, and she's a lawyer, and she has around 18 years of experience, and she has her own law firm. So I mean, we started talking about it, and then I told like, see, this is very exciting space. Okay, like let's start doing something around that. And she told like, the tech always comes, and then like we need to see like how it is practically possible. And that was curious for me because like I mean, being in the field, like we know like how much tech can actually solve and how much it cannot actually. Like always a hype cycle comes, and then like we come to know about what things happen. So that's the story. And then started getting in know people, and then like talking to Renu and then her team, and then like going to courts. That's the first time I went to court in Delhi, and then like try to see how things are changing. And I was surprised, like I mean, like not many people would have known like the entire courts is streamed now, and the judgments are accessible to everyone. And then there's a whole lot of data which is unstructured data is available, like, and everyone can use it. And how do we actually structure? Is it a big problem which we want to solve? That was a fascinating problem for me. So I thought like, okay, let's start this, and then like we want to do it. And that's been my last year actually, the whole like
Fantastic,
yeah.
fantastic. And Satish, I mean, it is so interesting to know that what would an engineer do when they go to a court and don't have to appear in a matter. So they would love to solve a problem. Fantastic. It's so nice to hear about it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, I will suggest everybody to go to court, right? Like things have changed, and it's in a right way to actually. So that's an interesting part to me actually. Again,
Uh,
like I will put Renu in this in a high note here, like because like she told like until you know the problem, you don't know how to build the solution. So she pushed me into it actually.
Very well said.
Yeah.
Very well said.
and we see Satish, and lovely points that you bring out and your inspiration behind it. We see technology kind of percolating into all sectors of
Yeah.
the legal profession, whether that be
Yeah.
counsels going to court, in-house
Correct.
counsels, consultants,
Mm.
others also using legal tech who are not really lawyers, but have built out a startup and want some
Yeah.
kind of a support, legal support, without being able to afford a dedicated legal person.
Correct. Yeah.
So, kind of, on similar lines, I wanted to understand who is your target user, right?
Yeah.
What's the persona that you're targeting?
So I mean, like we are targeting lawyers, but we are very specific and narrow about it. Like we want to solve the problem of legal research for the court going lawyer, because like there are too many fields in it. Like that was another surprising thing to me. Like contract is a big field, right? Like I don't want to get involved in contract actually. Like to me legal research, because to me that system needs to be changing, and there is a lot of opportunity in it and huge amount of data which every day the lawyer is going through. Can we change that part of it? Like it also, I mean, we did some research to understand in Renu's team, right? What we found is like a senior lawyer goes 3 to 4, I mean, like 2 to 3 hours or 3 to 4 hours in a day actually to go through this. And junior lawyers' case is even more higher, right? Like they do like 5 to 6 hours in a day actually, or sometimes that's their entire day of things actually. So that is where like we wanted to do this legal research and specifically narrowing field of code going there. That's our question.
I think that also helps, right, in
Correct.
kind of distinguishing your product from any other product that's there in
Yeah.
the market, and kind of
Yeah.
makes you focused. Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you. That's good to know.
Yes.
Where your focus is, and I'm sure the viewers here also will find it quite interesting.
Thank
So,
you.
Satish, and I really appreciate the fact that there is so much of clarity, even at this stage, that who are you really making this product for?
Yeah.
And since you have spent certain amount of time within the code system, and you also have the expertise of Renu in
Yeah.
guiding you with what exactly are the kind of problems that are required to be solved for
Yeah.
a litigating lawyer or a
Correct.
code going lawyer, so to say,
Yeah.
uh, then you are, I feel that you are already on the right track. You are building
Thank you.
the right thing for the right set of people.
Yeah.
But then the proof is in the pudding, isn't
Correct.
it?
Yeah.
So we would like to now go ahead and spend some time and look into what you are essentially building,
Okay.
and if possible go ahead and get a demo, kind of a
Yeah.
feel of what exactly you have built so far.
Sure. Thank you very much. I mean, I'll start with like what are the process we go through, because like there is quite enough challenges which have come through, and then like I will also explain like what we have right now actually. So I'll do it faster. So let me share my screen. So let me ask the standard question. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I will start with the first question. Like we found that experienced lawyers spend to reading and researching, and then there's 4 to 5 hours, as I told. But we also sat with lawyers actually, and then like try to understand like how are they doing it today, because like it's more interesting to do stuff. But for me, like this time, I wanted to sit down and understand. So the process starts always with like a case file, and then like they say that like what is the topic are we trying to cover, and they what is the case about, and what is the statutes involved in it, and then like what is the judgments, related judgments, and then like they filter it to relevance to finally write the notes or summary on it. So this is a long process, and then like this takes current, I mean, lot of time. And We also did like what is the current tools available actually. So we do look at the famous tools in the market, and then like we found it's all keyword search engines actually. And then like the the core incompetent of the tools which we found is like you need to over a period of time you know how to actually what is it, get better results actually, because like you know what are the terms which you have to use. For example, sometimes like when you do mangal sutra and cruelty, right, like that's an example like I was going through with another lawyer. And then like what we found is like the keyword search, right, like they have this expertise. Like somewhere sometime I found like they can even write a SQL query better actually, because they put like Mangal Sutra near cruelty, and then like there was I mean like they were trying to get that results, and then even in that like they got like 1,000 results or like 100 results actually. And in 100 they want to find like okay which are the places where it is relevant, and then like they have to find this answer. This process was hard, and I mean I felt like LLM can actually help in this whole thing. And how do we gonna help it actually? That's where like we thought like okay like what is that we have to do. So then it's always started with okay, where is this code data? Like how is it getting available? We found every code is publishing it. It's just that it's not in one place, and these tools are giving it actually. But again, like they don't have API in India. Like it's, I mean, I did find it in US and Singapore and other things also. The API access for them and then the getting this relevant data is really hard actually. So what we went ahead and built is, yeah, sorry, I mean like what we went ahead and built is like we started scrapping the data from every court in India, and then like we started building this, building a repository of judgments like which can be accessible. And in the meantime, like we also started looking okay like how do we index this data? How do you make it available for everyone to use it in a simple way? And this came out as a important thing for the code going lawyer. Like, can I get to know of this update section? How am I getting? I mean, like, what are the cases which are coming in the courts, and how can I actually access it easily? And then, like, so if I go quickly, yeah, I'll come here. So basically, like, how are they getting this? I mean, how can I get this data? Whatever I'm indexing. So this was an interesting problem for us because we are already anyhow doing this actually for our research engine. So we thought like, okay, let's send it as a newsletter for the lawyers, and that was really helpful for them. And this happened last year actually. And we sent a table of judgments actually, just like how an engineer will do it. But then the next request came to us was like, I mean, like it's a table, but I still need to read the full judgment actually. Do I have to read it actually? So those are the questions which came in, and we thought like, okay, LLM can help here, right? Like that's the whole idea of summarizer. So I mean, like, what if we put the judgment into this LLM and then can I summarize it? What we found is that's not that easy, like because it has a default limit of context length, and then like which means a judgment of more than 10 pages was not possible to send it across uh, to a GPT and get it. This was like somewhere around July or August of last year actually, and then like then the models got improved like more over a period of time, and we found like GPT 3.5 can do it, right? Like GPT 3.5 released 16K, and then it can go up to 20 pages. Like wow, great! And then like what we found is like no, still the summary is not correct actually, and we found out like it's not understanding the complete document, even though like there are many methods available. It was not understanding the documents. Then we went into another path to say like what is the way like we can make this models to understand this judgment actually, and how can we actually solve the problem of understanding. So this is where the summarizer went into a different track where we wanted to train our own model. Again, like when I say model, I'm not training the foundation model. I took the foundation models and then I fine tune it for my purpose. And that goes like we fine tune embedding, we fine tune re-ranking, and every part of this whole process we have fine tuned it except the retriever, because like we wanted to see that like what works actually kind of a thing. And we have our own domain model which is right now available, which understands judgment. And every as I told, like our focus is very narrow actually. We wanted to make sure the judgments are accessible, and contract and other things it may not work in our case. But I mean like that's the path I wanted to leave with. Like yes, like you can actually get the judgments done, contract also can be done, but that is a customizing engine actually. So then the summarizer went on this January. Like every quote, like you get a newsletter with a summary. And also like next question which came is the summary is good, like we are getting what to know, but I want to know more about this judgment. And then like I have to interact with this judgment, like whatever the field which they have, right? Then we introduce another tool called as interact with judgments, which allows them to interact with it. And in this process, we also found like can we extend our summarizer in a to a much higher length, right? Like, can we go up to 200 pages or 300 pages or 1000 pages? Like, that's where right now we are in. So, a document of 1000 page can be summarized. Like, we recently did a few things called as like Ayodhya judgment and then the electoral reforms and a few judgments, like which got like a quite popular thing. And that's what I will show it as a demo too. And we didn't stop there. We are in process of preparing for the case files too. As I told, like our main aim is to build a research engine, and that's where like we are going towards. And then like we have another tool which is coming up in very soon, is list of dates. You can put any case file in it and then it will prepare a list of dates for you, and then like you can interact with it, customize it, and do more analysis on top of it. And the last but not the least, like the most the things which we are building for like last 1 year is the research agent. And that's right now it's available, and then like we are actually verifying with few teams actually. And soon like we will let this product out for beta. And that is about the demo. So I'll go to the demo for it. Sorry, I mean not uh, Okay. So I'll start with our first product, which is a daily newsletter, which anyone can subscribe. And then, like, as you can see, like, you can get all the codes actually. And this is the first summary which we did. Like, I mean, like, you don't need to read the full judgment. You can just read that into 100 lines, like, sorry, 100 words. And then you can understand the complete summary. And this was the January period of things actually. And then, like, we released it. And like 2 weeks back, we released another thing called as Ask Junior for more. And when you click on it, it'll open it, and then like it's just like PDF chat. But the interesting thing which we did with this product right now is like PDF chat is available everywhere. Right? It's not a new tool actually. Like it's something available, but what we try to do is like what is it more important for the lawyers actually, or like how they will read the judgments, right? You will find this unique pattern in the lawyers actually. Like anytime they read, they want a citation, and that citation has to be like even in the similar you don't need to give a page number, you need to give a paragraph number, because that's how the court accepts it actually. So what we did is like now we don't give an answer. We say that okay, you can find this in paragraph 15 and 20, and then like paragraph 23 and other. So this also helped us to say like how much hallucination we have actually. And we have reduced a lot of I mean we have reduced quite a good amount of hallucination. That said, like we are in process of reducing more. And we know that like the chat items and the answers which we are getting is like quite good, but again like we wanted to make sure like it is verifiable. So that's the thing which we are working on the chat, and we will get it soon. And also, we have I mean, like we will allow multiple files to be uploaded where you can actually chat across multiple files. But that's a common functionality, but it will be built specifically for the lawyers, like how they read it actually. So we don't just give the page numbers. We will go still further and say like, okay, here is the paragraph and here is the highlighted lines actually. And there's another unique thing about our this product is like it doesn't, like for example Adobe and others, like they have released a similar tool, but it is restricted to 120 pages or 140 pages. Now the chat with judgments also can actually take more than 1000 pages at the same time and then do it. Like so you can upload 1000 pages and chat with it actually. So this is another thing. And the moment we are all waiting for is a summarizer tool. So this is again like not available yet actually. So what we have to do is we just need to upload the judgments and you can get the summarizer. We are testing this with a select group of people, and then like we are actually allowing them to experiment more on it. And I just want to add one more, but like right now, the most customer base, like or like most people who are interested, we were also surprised to hear is like UPSC candidates who wants a summary of the judgments which they can read every month. And then like so we are serving that community, as well as like some of the senior lawyers who are writing books, who are writing articles and other things, and we are evaluating with them. And also recently what we found is this the answers are like very correct, and then this is what they want actually. But they also gave like I want different kinds of outputs, so that's why like we introduced this small tab called as a summary. and sorry, the summary types actually. So this we just don't doesn't get the default one, but you can select. And then like when you select it, like you immediately get a different output saying that like IRAC like is a common format, right? Issues resolve. I mean rules.
Issues,
Yeah,
rules,
rules
analysis, and
and
conclusion.
count.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's a format like which you can get on. And then like again like we know that like any AI tool doesn't need to actually restrict like a older development cycle. So we have a button called as a custom. So once you click on it, like you can customize however the summary you want. Like we will in turn, like we will write a proper prompt and then allow it to give it. And we have a, I mean, again, these standard things, right? Like you can download as a Word, you can download as a PDF, and then you can share this whole file with everyone. And again, like this has a dashboard and then the back to upload. So dashboard allows you to upload multiple files and then we can actually do it. But this product, like we are not releasing yet actually because we are also trying to get the, uh, I mean, like correctness and the effectiveness before we say that, okay, this product is available. But that said, like we got some very good reception on it actually for going forward. Okay. So that's our entire tool market. And then like if you guys want more questions, like you can discuss more on that.
So Satish,
Yeah. I'll stop sharing. Okay. Sorry for that.
Satish, this is fantastic. I just want to, before we get into the questions, I want to think like someone who has to go ahead and prepare a plaint for tomorrow.
Yeah.
And uh, if I were to have this tool right now in my hand,
Yeah.
and the complete tool, including the
Correct.
summarizer,
Yeah.
so how is my life going to get better, Satish? If you could summarize that a little bit
Yeah.
for the audience, how is my life going to get better?
So this is my visualization, like how I think actually, or like how I understood, like point of like you have the client, you upload the client on it. Like we know, like we can prepare a list of dates for you, right? And then like that list of dates comes in. It we already have a statutes which is indexed actually. So we'll also say like this is what it is reference, and here is the part which is getting reference on it actually. So that's the first level we will do. And we will try to get again like when the research agent comes in, like it will pull from our database all the relevant judgments and available things to you. Now you may actually like the judgments or you may want like more judgments to be added. Then you can actually add more judgments to it, or you can actually select the judgments which you are given and then like say if that is relevant, not relevant, and why it is relevant kind of a thing. And then like for everything you get that whole notes which is prepared, right? Like we call it as a research note, right? So that notes will be prepared for you. So anytime you go into it, you have the case file, you have everything ready with you with the notes available, so you can actually present it to the court. So that's what like we are envisioning in the future.
That's fantastic. So it's it if we envision this, essentially this cuts down on a lot of time in finding.
Yeah,
It cuts down on a lot of time in figuring out the right space which has to be
yeah,
cited, and
correct.
also retains the citation from which that sort of an information has been
So
picked up,
correct.
brings all of that together, and then helps in preparing the final outcome
Output. Yeah,
in a much easier manner.
correct.
So we shortcut the amount of time that is now being required.
Correct. I mean, like what we are also experimenting with it is how we can actually, I mean, like we don't want to automate this process. Let me be really careful about terming this. We wanted to make sure like we are giving the first draft for them. Like how can they customize it for their need, right? That's the more important thing. For example, like take the case file as a good example, right? Like the evidence may come later actually, and then like they want to attach it, and then like when they attach, like it will have the date of reference or the issue in which they talk. So it should automatically get attached, but the lawyer has to decide whether like it is a good evidence, bad evidence, and then other kind of things, and then have that coherent system available with them actually. So we still think like there is good amount of work needed, but we are just structuring it in such a way that like they can visualize this actually the whole process.
And so this you're referencing different case laws as well, right? And
Correct.
figuring out the relevant
Yeah,
portions, or at least summarizing those.
correct.
Just wanted to understand how you keep your database current, or what is the frequency in which you maintain the currency of the database.
Which is, to be fair, like that's a thing which we are trying to get it done like in a day basis, but codes are slow, right? Like
Right.
they tend to update it later too, actually. So I mean, like in a week time, like we will have that database available actually, which is like kind of the normal week time. But again, like not every time you need the latest one actually, but you definitely need the relevant one actually. So that's the more specialization that you need.
Uh, Satish, a follow-up question to that is: we just saw that you today have the daily newsletter, and
Correct.
it's a very intelligent way of doing it, I would say, and I must
Yeah.
applaud you guys. I mean, it's a very intelligent way of doing it. I mean, you are already sending that information, making it handy in front of me.
Yeah.
Now, um, now this is something I think what I saw, and I please correct me if I am wrong.
Sure.
Is this something which is code specific information that you are sending through in the form of newsletter, or
Yeah.
is it matter type specific, or maybe section specific, or do you have any plan to move towards that sort of a thing?
That's the one ask like which I mean like see again like we don't want to give it for everyone, right? Like we are actually like there is two asks which came in like one is like this rural codes, like not rural codes, like a non
This
metro city code actually. So we are getting more requests, so we are sending it to them actually. Again, like every once like we send that letters to the specific people actually. And the second thing which we got is topic specific actually, statues or like what is the topic which, for example, money laundering is like one of the aspects which we
yes.
had today morning. Which is like we don't have much data available there. Like there is no way to find this actually. And yes, like we gonna do it, but again, like we are actually signing up users for it, like in a specific way. We are experimenting before we release it to everyone. Actually.
Perfect. So, I mean, the reason why I'm saying this is that while this information is useful, but
Correct.
then this adds on another step for me, who is maybe interested in, say, IBC, is
Correct.
what I'm interested in, and that is where I have my practice built up in
Correct.
NCLT. For just taking an example,
Sure.
so in that kind of a situation, I will be specifically interested in that
Yeah.
sort of judgment.
Correct.
So this could be very helpful.
Yeah, I mean, like topic classification is there, right? Like because when we summarize, we know that like okay, this is the issue, this is a category. It's not like we don't have that capability to do it. Like the only question which we are trying to do is can we make it like the perfect tool? How much customization we want to give, right? Like I don't want to give a drop down which says like okay, here are the 100 matters, select whatever you want. Right? Like that's gonna actually make the things difficult for you to select. Like I sometimes need one
Correct.
matter, sometimes need the other matter. So we need a perfect user experience where we can actually deliver this. So
So
that's
now,
the last bit which we are trying to get. Yeah.
Satish, I move into the next block of your tool where
Yeah.
I got the newsletter. I click on Ask Junior, right?
Yeah.
And I must confess, before coming on to this podcast, I have actually gone into the tool, and I have a very favorite question, which
Okay.
is explain to me this judgment like a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
And I tried to understand what it comes out with.
Okay.
And I must confess that it was a very interesting output, because the tool was essentially throwing up information and bringing that information together in a much easy to understand kind of a
Yeah.
manner.
Yeah.
So now I want to understand here is, to what extent, what kind of queries that it will be able to handle at
Mm.
that level,
Yeah.
and what kind of queries are not suitable for that. I mean, what is the prompt engineering that you would suggest, or the kind of prompt structure that you would suggest for me to get the best output out of the tool?
To be fair, like this is Vishwa's engineer talking, I think. So I don't want you to know prompt engineering, but yeah, good to know that like yes, like that is needed. And again, prompt isn't just an English things to do, right? Yeah. So basically, like we found this is our understanding on it. Like we found like most of the reasoning questions are like it's answerable because like we have a knowledge graph behind it actually. So we know the connections behind saying doing things actually. That said, like it's a needle in the haystack problem, right? Sometimes the information goes below the tree, then we don't get that information, and that goes like okay, pinpoint that evidence actually. That's kind of a question, or like why did the court say that actually? So that's still it's answerable, but it will make sure like it is not trying to actually justify a judgment or say that in a different way. So that specifically we have put down a note in the prompt saying that like don't try to justify anything actually, and we restrict it actually.
Hmm. Understood. So basically, it will end up giving a factual information that it
Correct.
sees right in front of it, but it's
Yeah,
not going to think beyond or kind of analyze that judgment, so to say.
exactly. Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, like,
yeah, you have almost answered my question, because the next question that I was going to ask, and
unveil.
maybe I will anyway go ahead and ask
Correct.
this, that is the tool going to think itself and is going to decide for the lawyer that what is important for the lawyer to look within that judgment, or is
Yes.
it dependent on the lawyer to come ahead and ask the right question?
uh no, actually, like, first thing is like that's the or that's the beauty of new knowledge graph, right? Like we know only the fact, like we can answer only the fact actually, and we know we don't want to go beyond that tree. And again, like that can be a hallucination problem kind of a thing, but we made sure like we can actually put as many guardrail as possible to get this done, actually stop it. And we do have like a evaluation running pipeline. We know that like what gone wrong in the yesterday's night, and then like we again like put that in. So there is a continuous process which runs across for our chat actually. Again, like
Understood.
with that said, like we still believe like the models are not there yet. Okay, like I mean, like we still need to fine tune, and we will fine tune going forward, like based on the things, and then like that's what like we will try.
Understood. So I will maybe this one question comes to my mind, Satish, is that once I have gotten this response, and I'm talking about the current
Yeah,
situation of the tool, right? I mean,
yeah,
the current position where the tool is in.
yeah.
So I have gotten this response, and I have actually found out what I needed to find out of it. So can you just explain to the viewer what I can do now, and what is
Mm.
it there in your pipeline that maybe I
Correct.
will be able to do in the near future, so that
Yeah.
people are clear when they go on to use it right now to have the correct expectation with the tool.
Makes sense. So right now we have every tool in free range. Like we don't charge any user or anything on that grounds actually. But we are actually restricting every user to one file at a time. Like that's one judgment at a time. But we want them to experiment with the what is that, like our platform as much as possible. And in the pipeline, we have multiple files available. So that's the next target, which you'll see very soon, actually, like in a couple of weeks or 3 weeks from now, actually. And timeline tool is available. So we will be releasing it again. That's another tool which is going to come up very faster. So these are the two tools. Like right now, if you are struggling with one judgment alone to do it, like we will actually ease your pain and then bring the multiple judgments. But that said, the single judgment will work really fine. Like you can actually upload as many files as possible. We have made sure it is scalable. So I will say, like, please go ahead and try with the single file, and we will soon be out with multiple files.
Understood. So Satish, I just want to now maybe go out of the tool view and get into the company view.
Yeah.
So, what is your vision with AskJunior.ai? Where do you are building something which is very cutting edge, very new
Mhm.
for the Indian market. So,
Correct.
where do you want to see this grow? How do you see your next 6 months happening?
Okay, so this this is some question which I was thinking of. See, one thing, like this technology is there, right? Like it's not like technology is not there, or it's not. It just need like good amount of fine tuning. But with that, like we have the technology. One thing which I found really, or when I experiment with it, is like this is not accessible to everyone. Like we need to bring to this. I mean, the cost point which is accessible to everyone, so that like anyone can use it. Like as a company's vision, like what we are trying to do is like we know we want quality as the first pillar in this, and then we know it is the cost is the matter for Indians, right? Like which is going to be the bigger factor for like what is that we can do which can actually bring quality at the same time in the cost effective. So that's our 6 months towards it, and we are actually trying to make these things faster. Actually, how can we actually make this? I mean, like we deploy into like a lot of edge servers in India. So to make sure like we can actually the answers which you are getting it, like let's imagine like you're getting it from Kharagpur, like it should come from the Calcutta sir. So those are the things which you are trying to do from tech side, and then like quality and cost. So these are the three pillars which you are looking at. And the tools will be always available to public, and then like we are also will try to reach out to the institutions and the parties available so they can actually experiment with it and the students get used to it. So that's our
Satish,
plan.
very well put, in fact, and that brings another question to my mind.
Mm.
Do you plan to handle vernacular through this tool?
Yeah, that was one of the interesting thing which we had actually. I mean, like to be fair, like we had tried it, right? Like if you see our page, like we have a Hindi judgment summarized, actually summarized judgment in Hindi. That's what like we tried actually. That's it. Like see the we I don't see that like how do I put it like. We will definitely go into that path, but the current models not available. But that said, like Indic models are coming up, right? Like there is good amount of traction on Indic model, like Sarvam AI or like the recent
Bhashini.
Bhashini, and then like so that platforms are there. So we want to plug into their platforms and then make that process. So the models, like I mean, the best example is the recent Claude model, right? They can send it in the, I mean, they can answer it in Hindi, like or like English or sorry Tamil. I mean, like we found it, it's possible, but again, like what is the efficiency of it? Like how much data they can actually like provide in a correct way, right? That is not there actually. I mean, like we wanted to do it and we will do it. Like it's just that matter of like how we want to do it. Again, like as I told, right? Like I'm very particular about the quality of things. I don't care about like even if there is a minor quality, we don't want to release that product and say that we have the product. I mean, like I don't want to say that this is a demo, like we are releasing it. We will release it like only when the things are very good. Actually.
Perfect.
Also, Satish, just one question popped up. So you've been these are PDFs, and those are the formats that you're looking at. But what about image files, right?
Yeah.
If there's an image file uploaded, are you able to extract data from that? Is it similarly? Is the chat feature with the image file? Does that work?
We do have a multimodal chat, but we don't actually support the full multimodal mode. Like basically, like the case file, which is going to get released next week, will actually where like it will also change this chat and summarizer where you can actually read the case files because sorry, the images in the case file. Right? The good example is like when you have a case file, you'll have medical files, right? The bills of the medical things, which will be scanned copy of it, or like some parking tickets and other kind. So we do have a model like which can actually read if this is the image file, like, can you understand and do it actually. So that is possible, and we have actually good amount of quality results on it. And then like we are verifying it. Yes, like it will be soon possible. That's the idea.
Understood.
Fantastic.
Mm.
So, what I'm just going to request if there is someone on the stream who has got any question at this point of time. Anyway, as a follow up, we essentially would we always encourage people to first look at what has been built, because only when you play around with the tool, with the technology, you start getting excited about it and start feel the kind of use cases. There are multiple use cases that can come out. I mean, I would like to also stress upon that point what you mentioned, Satish, that you started building this for lawyers, and then
Correct.
you realized that an UPSC aspirant also
Yes.
is a use case, right?
Yeah.
And this is so interesting to know that
Yeah.
a tool, while this is how it is getting built, but then use cases are coming up.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
So I'm just going to give maybe another minute or so for someone who wants to come up. In the meantime, Satish, if I were to go ahead to want to use this,
Yeah.
and at this point of time, and full confession, I have already used it, so I know how to do it. So, but can you just give maybe a one-liner about someone who has to immediately would go ahead and start using it?
Yeah. So that's like our domain is really easy. AskJunior.ai. That's a company name and that's a domain name. So I mean, anytime you click on it, you'll get it in Google search everywhere. And also, our LinkedIn community is really great. Like we are spreading the words on it, and making like all these tools has the similar thing. Like if you want chat.askjunior, and then newsletter.askjunior, and then like summary is summarizer.askjunior, which basically like it will come up in the quick succession.
So, Satish, I'm going to read out a question that we already have. So, are
Mm.
you integrating a chatbot into this tool? In the sense,
Mm.
I mean, they would want to understand from two point of view. I would like to maybe elucidate the question, because
Mm.
this is already a chat-based tool. So,
Correct.
the other piece where people might get interested to understand is that if I were to interact with this tool, I would have some questions. And I am
Correct.
a lawyer
Yeah.
who might or might not always understand how such a tool would
Yeah.
work.
True.
So, what is your mechanism to make it easy for someone who is not automatically integrated or know how to use this tool? Make it little easier. Do you have you thought about it, or are you giving some thought about this?
Yeah, I mean, like we are is that was a that's the thing which I told, right? Like we want this UX to be like feeling like it's attaching to their workflow, and it is natural co-pilot for them actually. Yes, chat is one option like which is gonna be there like for the answering the question. Yes, it's you can even in the summarizer like you will have a chat like where you can actually chat more on that or like change the output however you want to. So that personalization we will definitely give, and it's available too. So that's kind of a thing. But what we are looking at is the chat should be like a part of a workflow area actually. So it's just an additional functionality where you want to add more personalization towards it, and text as another medium, right? Like you can actually use voice more than doing this actually. So that kind of a you're looking for an interface just like how you can actually in your workflow we just plug in chat, we just plug in the summarizer, and then like it's naturally placed you. You click a button, you get this actually, or like you draw a plugin and then like you get timeline, right? Like that kind of a thing.
Satish, if I may give a small suggestion.
Yeah,
So it
please.
also always helps, and see, and this comes from a bit of an experience as well. It
Mm,
always helps if you give at least an idea, or say
mm,
like that I button which pops up when you want to say do a certain part of search in
correct.
Google Patents.
Mm,
If you give an idea about how to interact with the tool, if I want to
okay,
interact with the judgment, how
that's
do
a
I
good
interact
one.
with the judgment? If I want
Yeah,
to put in a prompt or I want to ask a question, how do I do that?
yeah.
That would be really helpful, because
Mm,
as we have been working and trying to understand the problem,
mm,
uh, within the within the kind of acceptance for such kind of tools within the
correct.
community, we
Mm,
have to take the step to make it really easy for people
yeah,
to go ahead and consume, which I can
sure.
already see you have done. And
Yeah.
just an humble suggestion from my
No,
side.
I'm with you. I'm see basically yes, like we will have a walkthrough agent which is there. Like when you click on help, like it's gonna walk through what are the steps which you can do actually. So again, like we wanted to make sure, like because like it's just a single file upload, right? One action which you can do in the whole page. That's another thing which we very concentrate on it. Like how can we make that easy for everyone, right? Like I can drag and drop and then get these things done. But that said, yes, like I completely agree with it. Like we'll have a soon have a help page and like which goes through every page and then like give what you can do in that actually.
Perfect.
Yeah,
So I don't see any other question right now coming up, and I
okay,
think this actually always have a trickling effect.
sure.
That's how we have seen. So we start getting questions after the stream,
Yeah,
after we have done this, and then
yeah,
people get excited after they've used the tool once.
okay,
So I'm going to encourage everyone who is watching now to go ahead and start using this tool. Send as many questions, because that helps in two manner. One is it brings a lot more clarity to the developer, to the team of AskJunior.ai, to bring in
yeah,
the best possible thing to the market. And second is it also helps ease our lives.
yeah,
So it's a win on both sides, isn't it?
yeah.
Before I go ahead and tell goodbye to the forum, so I would like to do a shout out to OpenAI.ai. So OpenAI.ai has been formed, and it's a fantastic forum that, and I know that Satish found his co-founder Renu over there in OpenAI.ai, and therefore it has been, I know it is actually making one wonderful contribution to this community. So a shout out to OpenAI.ai. All the people who are listening into this, please go ahead and follow their page, and follow the work that they are doing. We are so proud of the folks in OpenAI.ai. Lastly, thank you very much, Satish, your team, for having joined us today. And we would love to see this become a mainstream tool for any code going lawyer, and ease up their life as much as possible while they are researching, and further while they are finally creating the documents.
Yeah.
So Satish, thank you very much again, and
Thank
with
you.
this I would bid everyone a good day and a good night.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.